Now to politics. The Prime Minister is to unveil nearly £30 billion worth of investment in new projects in the science, tech and creative industries today during a global investment summit that's being held at Hampton Court Palace. Let's talk more about all of this with the Minister for Business and Trade, Lord Dominic Johnson. Good morning to you.
Morning.
This is sort of the brainchild of the successor, or we should say predecessor, Boris Johnson. And this time this investment summit has managed to attract triple the amount of investment. Tell us more about what sort of investment we're going to be hearing about today.
Well, thank you so much. It's completely fantastic. I'm here at Hampton Court. We've got 200 of the top business leaders in the world coming here to see why the UK is the premier destination for investment anywhere in the globe. We're announcing £29.5 billion worth of investment, and that's across the board, from asset allocators saying they're going to invest in Britain in general, to Iberdrola in offshore wind, to money raised for Oxford Quantum Circuits and a whole range of other opportunities. And it's just a fabulous celebration of the opportunities that we offer to the world in terms of generating great returns and putting money into the UK economy.
How are you reassuring those businesses then who like certainty about the prospect of probably a Labour government next year, but also, you know, there's been a lot of flip-flopping on policy over the last few years under a Tory administration. You know, how do you reassure businesses who are investing huge sums of money that that's the right move for them? They wouldn't be better off going to Florida or to Texas, where, you know, it's tax-free and they don't have any of the uncertainty we have here?
Well, sure. I mean, I hear that, and predictability and stability is absolutely at the core of our offering. I mean, the fact is we've got just under 30 billion being committed today, which is a very clear sign that businesses want to come to the UK. Earlier in the week, we announced 20 billion from Korean businesses investing in the UK. Again, a whole range of different types of businesses, from big asset allocations through to a Parisian bakery operating in London. So, you know, the proof of the pudding are in the money flows. And they're coming here really because of the framework that this Conservative government has established to make us investable. Now, the Prime Minister has a very clear goal to turn us into a science and technology superpower. And they're not just empty words. That's not just an election slogan. It is key, because if we don't own the IP, if we don't commercialise the extraordinary brains and talents of the people in this country, we'll end up being a second-class price-taking nation. So this is a national endeavour, one, and two, it's working. A lot of people talk down our investment flows, but we are top in the world for greenfield renewable, and we're only third in terms of greenfield investments behind China and the USA. So really we're presenting a phenomenal story here, and the great message from today, which is something that we want to celebrate, is being bullish on Britain.
Well, look, the big success story of the previous summit was these wind farms, and we're beginning to see the outcomes of that and the revenue that's coming into the economy as a result. And I was reading in your own press release this morning from the Energy Security Secretary, Claire Coutinho, about how the UK is attracting lots of low-carbon investment, 200 billion since 2010 and another 100 billion expected by 2030. But it begs the question then, with all this money, as you say, you follow the money flows, why is Rishi Sunak turning his back on the green agenda? And your own committee that looks into these things says that Britain's lost leadership in climate action.
Well, I just dispute that totally. He hasn't turned his back on the green agenda. I think actually we're pushing forward even faster. I mean, we were the first country to really get our heads around offshore wind, which is why we're the global leader. It's absolutely extraordinary, the interest that we've generated. And we're also developing the scientific skills to enable us to do that better and make us more efficient. Other areas of extraordinary development are nuclear, fusion, hydrogen, and what the Prime Minister said was we're actually totally committed to our net zero targets, but we have to do it in a practical and manageable way. And the people watching this programme are going to want to know that A, we can create sustainable and cheap energy, but we can do it in a phased and measured way that doesn't overly impact the economy. And I think we're sort of having the best of both worlds. Let me return to the agenda today. Just under 30 billion of new investment has been committed at this extraordinary summit, led by the Prime Minister, my Secretary of State, Kemi Badenoch. I mean, that's an enormous celebration. I think this is probably the biggest and most effective investment summit ever delivered anywhere in the world. And we should really, as you know, people at Britain over our breakfast today, celebrate that amazing fact. I mean, they're here because of you.
Yes, but we talk about, you know, short-termism. I say we talk. Rishi Sunak talks about how there shouldn't be short-termism in politics. You don't think that you were scared a little bit by the by-election in Uxbridge and suddenly have jettisoned a whole bunch of policies, even though, as you say, you follow the money flows are following the green agenda, but you're worried the electorate don't want to do that?
Well, hang on. So the money flows are following our policy framework. If you look at this year's announcements, even earlier this week with Nissan deciding to locate its production plant and a new battery factory for the Duke and the Qashqai. If you look back a few months before to the electric Mini being built by BMW, the Tata Gigafactory, these are companies who are coming to the UK, not to other countries. I mean, I'm fighting these battles in a competitive landscape. They're coming here because they believe that our green agenda is practicable, they can generate returns, and they have our absolute alignment of interest between our long-term ambitions and their desire to invest. So it's just simply not true to say that. I think Britain's got the balance right. We understand the impact on the consumers and the overall economy. We're absolutely ambitious in meeting our net zero targets. We've halved our emissions compared to other countries. We're way ahead of countries like France in terms of emission reduction. And as I say, you've got to follow the money.
Okay.
The proof that we have the right policy framework is that the people are here today investing in the UK. And to be honest, I think we should be celebrating that. We should talk ourselves up,
Okay.
be bullish on Britain. We have the people and we've got the technologies.
Lord Johnson, a final question. It's day 4 of this sort of truce where we're seeing hostages and prisoners swapped in the Middle East. How hopeful are you that perhaps this could be extended?
Well, we're very hopeful. I mean, the British government is absolutely focusing all its efforts on making sure we can come to a peaceful resolution. Personally, obviously today we're doing a very powerful business day, but all our personal thoughts are with the people wrapped up in this terrible conflict, and clearly David Cameron and the Prime Minister and all the senior leadership of the government are doing everything they can to try to move this to a peaceful resolution.
OK, Lord Dominic Johnson, Minister in the Department for Business and Trade, thank you very much indeed.